Good evening. Happy Monday. We are back. How you doing, Auntie?
And you know what? I'll just say this real quick. It's a shame that right now the Diddy trial's going on, so Wendy Williams probably gonna remain locked up forever because don't nobody.
Because he'll be damned if she come out here and run her mouth some more about it.
Woo!
Literally, since I got back, Diva, I've been scrolling up, on my time feed on my social media, and I see all the old Wendy Williams videos and interviews and hot topics. I heard talking about Diddy. They are all flooding the streets again, honey. Yeah, he not gonna
keep your head up, Wendy. Keep your head up.
True blue. We tight like glue, okay?
Woo, child. Oh, Wendy.
Wow. We still love her. We support her.
Yes,
so she's behind the bars of the, the mental facility. But, they said she got free restriction. We have been seeing her out here in the streets. She's had lunch and, she still got her phone. So, Look, Wendy was doing a lot. I definitely thought they was going to snatch that phone up from her. I really, really did.
No, she got her phone.
Listen, people, we are here. We are back. We missed last week. I was away for vacation, resting, relaxing, and doing me down in the Bahamas. And we had a beautiful time. Took a Royal Caribbean cruise. So if you have not done it, I suggest you do it. It was amazing. And then while I was gone, my auntie, she done snuck up and reached her 40K, her 40,000 subscribers.
Yes. Let me tell you, I've been crawling my way up the ladder.
Listen, you have been putting in the work, and it is your season. It is your time. I am so happy for you. I am so proud of you. We have true love and support for each other. We don't do that haterade or none of that foolishness. I truly support you. I truly am glad that you have reached, your 40,000 and onward and upward from here. So go you. Congratulations.
Now let me say this also Royaire. Let me tell everybody out there in the streets. The nice thing about our relationship is we literally are so chill and cool together. When we speak, it ain't nothing but laughs. Okay, that's probably why we're able to come up here and just have so much fun with y'all, because that's how we do when we on the phone talking to each other. We just be cracking up. But anyway,
wonderful time. Okay, congratulations to you. I'm so happy for you, and onward and upward for here. So since we're talking about that, we are live on both channels. We appreciate each and every one of you for joining us tonight. So if you're on Diva's channel, make sure you come over to Royaire's World, hit that like button and subscribe. And if you're on Royaire's World, make sure you go over to Chronicles of the Gray Haired Diva and hit that like button and subscribe as well. Let the people know that we are live. Share this video, share this live with someone that watches the Real Housewives of Atlanta. We are mid-season, people are kind of still rolling in the door. So let's just kind of give our little thoughts and moments. We're at mid-season, Auntie. A lot has happened. Unfortunately, we have seen Shamea and Porsha's friendship kind of crash out. Drew and Ralph, they are no longer talking. Kenya's no longer on the show. We have a pretty good understanding of everybody on the show now. I feel very comfortable with everybody. Where are you at as we roll into, this halfway mark of the season?
Well, I mean, some people are not feeling, Roa, period. I think they're over it. A lot of people are over just reality TV, period. But we're gonna be the diehards. We're gonna stay there until they crash and burn. Like
Okay.
we're gonna be there for the last episode, okay?
If we
I'm
can keep
not
those
hoping
girls
that
going,
happens.
keep Roa rolling.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not hoping that happens, but we're gonna be there to the bitter end. On that note, I will say, for whatever reason, I'm really enjoying this season. It's not this petty, stupid fighting over nothing. It's some real issues going on. Real issue, Drew and Ralph going through it. And we have learned lately from other reality stars that these people can't afford to move out the house. So they're going through it, and they're going through it in the house together. Hence, what's the name? Don't be tardy for the party. Yeah, him and Croy. They was in that house together to the bitter end, to the house went in foreclosure. And I think if the house would have never went in foreclosure, they would still be in that house together. Okay. Then I heard something crazy, but I could believe it's true, but I was hoping it wasn't true. That Kim was renting some house that was $50K a month. Is this chick off her rocker? Like, it's just crazy to me. But anywho, so in terms of that, real life stuff, Shamea and Porsha not speaking. How you was besties forever, and now y'all truly not speaking?
Yes.
And matter of fact, Porsha put a little a subliminal threat online the other day, telling Shamea she better watch her mouth when talking about Miss Diane.
And did. She did. I think, Porsha, she's got some boldness going on with her this season, okay? She's not playing, but then again, I don't know, because Porsha definitely deleted that, little comment that she put out there. So, my thing is, Porsha, if you gonna say stuff, stand on business. What Shamea has done, Shamea has stood on business this entire season. She said what she said. She meant what she meant, and ain't nothing been deleted. She has kept to what she has said. And so far, involving her friendship with Porsha, I do see this so far this season that everything that she has said to Porsha has been said to the other girls. Porsha already knows about it. And that's kind of proven at the end of this episode, as we'll get into that. But yeah, it's sad to see this friendship. I love what Cynthia said in one of her confessionals. Unfortunately, she hates to see longtime friendships before the show fall apart. It's really, really sad, and it's very unfortunate. But, the girls are the girls, and so far, next we're going to be seeing Phaedra come into the season. I believe she's on this next episode 11, that came out last night. We do see Shamea and Porsha possibly have a conversation to see where they go from there. So I'm excited about this part too. I'm really enjoying this season. Honestly, as you said, the ratings have been really good review wise on streaming apps. I do see them talking about it on social media. The Shade Room is posting, people are having conversations, a lot more conversations than I have seen with the other Housewives shows. So hopefully, we're in the runnings for season 17 and we can keep going with the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Yes, I am.
Well, we won't prolong the people any longer. Like we said, we're live on both channels. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe on both, and share with your friends and family that we are live recapping episode 10 of season 16, Meditation and Mediation. Okay. So we're going to start off with Kelli. We're cooking in the kitchen with the kids. Okay. Kelli has 4 girls, 4 beautiful daughters.
Beautiful.
Her eldest daughter is from a different relationship. The youngest 3 are with her ex-husband, who she's no longer with. And, there's a restraining order situation going on and all of that stuff. So Chloe opens up saying that she has 2 low D's in 2 of her classes, but A's in the rest of her classes. She really wants to work on getting that up because she does not want to hear her dad's mouth. Kelli does share that she has a good parenting relationship with Chloe's father. It wasn't always like that, but they are in a good place. And, she's not sure if that will happen with the younger girls' daughters because of everything that they've got going on right now. But we always are hopeful for change in the future. We always are hopeful that people can grow, mature, recognize their wrong, apologize for it, and move forward. So hopefully that can happen so that they can have a good relationship as the younger girls with their dad as well. Kelli, she's ready to move. Okay. She said, I've got 4 girls in this small town house. She won the house in the divorce settlement with her ex-husband, but she has to sell the house. So now she's looking for a home. She does want Chloe to start working and getting a job, start having some goals in life. Chloe said, listen, girl, I ain't no grown woman. I'm not here to work. Okay. Kelli said, well, I work. I'm a mom. I do things. You're old pretty much. That's what you're supposed to do. And you know what? Even no shade to the parents, no shade to y'all, but I be telling the parents, y'all signed up for a lifetime commitment. Okay? So you just can't give up paying for us all of a sudden. That don't have to work. No.
Oh my God.
Lifetime commitments, okay? That's why I don't plan on having any kids, because it really is, though, a lifetime commitment. It really is. Kelli believes in having goals. Chance has a goal to being a chef, one of her daughters. And so she said she wants to be a chef so she can try to help mama learn how to cook, because they don't think mama can cook, okay? So
that's an old restaurant, chicken and waffles.
Chicken and waffles. That's all she's good at is chicken and waffles.
Girl, I'm like, that mama can't cook. That is messy.
We have a scene with Shamea, Ralph, and Porsha. Now, I really struggled with this diva because at the beginning of this season, we seen that Porsha was so up in arms with Drew working with Dennis and doing music and filming and all of this stuff. Well, here we are. And Shamea was a little, she was standing with her friend as well. Why are you meeting and hanging out and doing business with Dennis? Okay. So Shamea has a meeting with Ralph. They go to dinner together. Ralph and Shamea, supposedly they had a podcast together. And so Ralph is needing some help working on this new podcast idea that he has. And so Shamea says she would be glad to help her brother at any time. Okay. Shamea doesn't see anything wrong with meeting up with Ralph. So she says. Shamea said that she met with Ralph to catch up to see how things are going and to kind of get the information on Dennis and Drew and what's going on with that. Because, word on the curve is they've been messing around. They sleeping together. She asked to sleep with him to pay for some beats, all of this mess. So she wanted to clear the air, okay? Ralph said that him and Drew dated for 5 months. They got pregnant at 8 months. And it was a rolling romance from there. Married and moving on. Ralph, he said that he really did not get a time to really get to know Drew and figure out who Drew was. And he's grown to not like the person that she has become. Ralph feels that Drew and Dennis's relationship is inappropriate and disrespectful to Porsha. While they're having a conversation, guess who walks in the room with her big booty, okay? Miss Porsha herself. Porsha, sits down at the table. She greets, Ralph and greets Shamea. And so Porsha says in her confessional, now hold up, let me clear this up. Now, I know at the beginning of the season, I said I didn't want, her filming with Dennis, but I got invited here by Shamea. Ralph just happened to be here. I did not know he was going to be here. Porsha, says that Dennis texted her in regards to Drew allegedly saying that she wanted to sleep with Dennis to pay for the music that she's been working with him on. Ralph says that he just cannot believe that this is who he has married. And, Drew sleeping around has kind of been something that she's known for. He alleges that she slept with a basketball player. I can't remember Mimi's ex-girlfriend. I can't remember what her name was.
Her name is Ty.
Yes. Shamea says, well, you can't believe everything. The internet says a lot. Have you ever cheated on Drew? And Porsha says, yes. Have you ever sniffed another woman? And he says, yes, I have sniffed another woman, but I've never cheated on Drew, okay?
I can sniff. I said, they so stupid.
Petty.
Also,
Porsha said that Drew talked about her kids. And Ralph said, how dare she? I would never talk about my kids. I have respect. I said, respect, Ralph. Was you respectful when you left the country and didn't tell your wife? Or went down to Florida and didn't tell your wife or children where you were going? Were you respectful when you said that you was going to adopt your side and you backed out at the last minute? The nerve. Ralph said that Drew and Porsha were very close. Porsha said, well, not that close. Porsha felt that Shamea, or she did not feel, Shamea did not like that Angela forgave Porsha quicker than she forgave her about this whole sleeping with your man conversation. Shamea felt, you said the comment, how could she forgive you when I'm just the one that laughed at the comment and she's still mad at me? I don't have no understanding of that. So that was pretty much those two scenes right there. I'll stop there and we can, talk about those first two.
So, Kelli with her kids, absolutely adorable. And like you said, all the daughters are absolutely gorgeous. Mm-hmm. I love the family scenes. I thought it was cute. She asked the daughter her goals. The daughter wanted to be a chef. The other daughter was talking about her grades and how her dad is. And I love the fact that she said her and the first daughter's father, they're like friends now. She said, we're like brother and sisters. We homies, we get along. So we're co-parenting well. It's always great for the kids when the parents, if they are no longer together, can find a way to co-parent in in a nice way, because that's going to make sure the kids are, have a healthier, more balanced life. Yes. When it comes to, her daughter, well, when you throw your daughter a birthday party and you buy her 13 or whatever, how many luxury bags you buy her, why would you think this girl was going to go work somewhere? I mean, when you spoil them, it's a wrap. This is over the top. That girl that you stole that, you could tell she used to being cute, getting what she got to get and doing what she got to do. Okay, but Kelli, you created that, so you got to go ahead and keep making the money so you could continue that. And good luck to you, because you got four. You got 4 girls. Okay, so you got a lot on your plate, but very cute family. And she said, the townhouse is getting too small for them. They're looking to get, a bigger home, because they did come from a 7,000 square foot home. That's a lot of square footage.
That is.
But God bless them. This ex-husband of hers, I hope that at some point, even though he seems like, he's a beast with it, I hope at some point they can have a full circle moment too. I really do, for the children. I mean, she got 3 kids by this man, so we'll see. But I thought it was a great thing, and I did love that scene with them. Now, when you talk about Shamea, Ralph, and Porsha, the whole scene was just a whole hot, stinking, filthy, nasty mess. It was a whole hot, stinking, filthy.
What Porsha say? Low down, dirty.
That part. It was low down and dirty, Royaire. It was low down and dirty. First of all, Shamea going there, and Shamea doing the most. And I like Shamea, but she doing the most in her confessionals.
A whole lot.
Yeah, she putting 20 on 10 in them confessionals. Mm-hmm. But I will say this: just meeting Ralph to begin with. Period. I guess he needed somebody to film with. I don't know. But just meeting with him, period, I thought was a lot. I'm not, unless Ralph happened to have been my friend before his wife, I'm not swinging with Ralph and hanging with him like that. Nah, bro, if your wife ain't there, I ain't coming. But, she met them because they did a previous podcast together. He talking about another podcast. And then, Porsha shows up and they joke to say, oh, he's buying dinner. Well, you got a whole divorce going on and a lot going on. And according to the paperwork, most of the money that was being used was Drew's money. So I know that was just a scene filler, because I'm just like, Ralph ain't paying for nobody dinner as much money as they spend at that dinner. Anywho, to get back to the point at hand, I thought it was just all over the place. This whole thing of the joke that Drew, because Drew just don't be having nothing to talk about. So the joke that Drew made, that, the money that's going to be made is, Porsha does think she's so funny. Yeah, the middle school girl act at 43 is not amusing. Lawson, I will agree with you.
At all.
Yeah. I will agree with you 100%. So the joke that Drew made about, the money that's going to be made is going to help Pilar go to college. We see how they're dragging that out to the bitter end. And because Porsha actually told Ralph about that, told Ralph that Drew was trying to sleep with Dennis. I mean, Yeah, I was just sitting at that scene like this where I was like, okay, whatever.
Why are we doing all of this? That's what it was really giving. Why are we doing all of this? Especially when you claim that you're so upset about her doing this to you. Why would you do it in return? I just feel like both of them have so. Porsha, your husband is in ICE. Your daughter don't know.
Oh my God.
Don't you have things to be worried about? Don't you have concerns to, divorce? Like, can you keep up with this house that you and Simon have bought together? Are you going to keep this money that, y'all, what's going on with this? You have so many other things that you actually need to be worried about versus sitting down with someone else's ex-husband who can't even move out of his own house. He got to stay in the house because he can't afford to live anywhere else.
That part.
And Shamea, you need to go worry about you trying to get this Sarah get pregnant so that y'all can have y'all boy. Y'all got too much other stuff to be worried about. Get off of this. I just couldn't believe this foolishness, the immaturity, the disrespect of, just continuing this shade of the lie that I felt Shamea was spreading in regards to Drew in this PJ situation. Drew did not talk about your daughter. In the manner that she said it, she said that the way she said Dennis, the way Dennis has these royalties set up, that it is going to take care of Pilar's schooling. And she said, well, maybe I can help with the snacks. We all throw shade. Why is this shade any different from any other shade? I don't think it was disrespectful. I just feel like they were trying to blow everything out of proportion and y'all were concerned about the wrong thing. Worry about what y'all got going on in your lives before you worrying about somebody else's.
I wholeheartedly agree. You couldn't say that more. I just thought that scene was just messy, but you could tell though what I really noted from that scene is how you could tell that Shamea was having feelings in that scene in regards to what's going down between her and Porsha, because she was like, I don't see how she's still mad at me, but you the one said it and she talking. It was just a mess.
While Ralph is still sitting at the table, so she was definitely in those feelings. I mean. Indulged all the way. I really, as I've been saying all season, it's time for us to put our foot on Porsha's neck. Porsha, how dare you? How dare you? The very thing that you complain about someone doing to you, you turn around and do to them. Where is this hashtag growth that you say that you have? Because I'm not seeing it at all. I'm really not seeing it. And as I said, Simon is locked up in ICE. You need to worry about telling Pilar what's going on with her stepdaddy and getting this divorce, and stop filming at your mama house. Try to get some cameras in your own house.
Nice.
The people just they need to mind their business. Worry about your business.
Ooh, well, she do got a lot going on.
It does. She's crying in every scene, talking about she don't have the energy and the space for all of this. Well, then stop the foolery and the mess. Stop it, ma'am. Because it's giving you got plenty of time for it, obviously. Angela, as we know, we were introduced to Angela in these 5 houses about 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, okay? And so Angela, she is in debt $2 million. She has not sold any of these 5 houses. And they need to get on the market because she's still trying to have a wedding, a renewal of her vows, rather, for her and Charles. And Charles told her they cannot have this renewal if she don't sell these 5 houses, okay?
Not happening.
Kelli comes over, Kelli, as we found out earlier in this episode, she's looking for a home. She's got to sell her current home. She's living in a townhouse. So she's looking for a new home. Angela has invited her to come and, tour the house. And Kelli knocks on the door. She comes in. She offers to get a hug from Angela. The last time they seen each other, Kelli was not saying positive things to or about Angela. And so, last we talked, it was, I don't want to deal with that fake. Go about your business, girl. We good, okay? Angela did greet her with the hug. She said, I'm great. We're in a better space. And Kelli brought over some champagne. She took a tour around the house. Unfortunately, the house is not completely finished. The pool was empty with water. There was no staging of the furniture. No racks or shelves were hung up in the closet. We got a lot of work to do, Angela. Kelli, she said it's a beautiful home, nice and quaint. She loved the kitchen. but there's some work that still needs to be done in this house, okay? Angela, and Kelli, they sat down, after the house tour, and, Angela really wants the girls to communicate with her. Don't talk about me behind my back. Say whatever you have to say to my face so that we can address the issue and move on, okay? Angela did not like the fact that Kelli had some things to say as if she knew information about Angela's marriage to Charles. And so she spoke upon the issue of a possible child being made outside of their marriage between Angela and Charles. And so Angela had to clear up the story, okay? Angela said, well, this is what happened. This is how all of this came about. Charles was hosting a cooking event with Wendy Williams. And so Angela, Wendy was in the news about her divorce, and having a side baby and all of that. And Angela felt the need to tell Wendy Williams it's just a side baby. I've been in that situation before. And so Wendy took that as if, Charles was the one that had a baby. And, that news went worldwide. Okay. So that's how that happened.
She ran with it. She
said, you gonna talk about me, bitch? I got you. Since it's just a child, let's talk about it.
She ran with it. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm.
Angela talked about her chat, her and Kelly's chat being inappropriate at Cynthia's Bailey Q. And so she was just glad that they cleared that up and got a clear understanding of exactly what was going on. Shamea opened up to Angela and Drew, a couple events ago afterwards, out having some drinks, about her friendship with Porsha. She feels that the friendship is very lopsided. She feels that she can't really share her true feelings and emotions in regards to her and Porsha's friendship issues and situations. Angela, shares that she wants, Shamea to really step up and say how she feels to Porsha. And so hopefully going forward, they can have that conversation and, they can rectify those issues. Kelli thought it was very weird that Shamea felt comfortable enough to, share with Angela and Drew all of this information about her and Porsha's friendship. But, they went on about their business, and that was pretty much the ending of that scene. And then I'm going to throw this in here as well. Britt, we're at Britt's home. She's talking with her husband. Her mom is getting ready to move in. Britt, is, saying we walk around naked pretty much. We're going to have to start putting on clothes once mom moves in. Britt shares that she's not seeing eye to eye with everyone. And so, her and Angela got into it at Cynthia's Bailey Q. I really enjoyed the Bailey Q episode, by the way. That was really good. Shout out to Cynthia. Cynthia's Bailey Q always stirs up the tea, okay? Keeps the show going.
Cynthia always putting her name in one situation.
Come on, Lake Bailey.
Okay. Boom. Come on. Y'all better show some respect for the OG.
Listen, show respect, okay? And I love the way Cynthia... I was listening to her podcast the other day. Sorry, y'all. Side moment. I was listening to her podcast the other day, and she was just saying how she loved the way that Bravo really integrated her in this season. If you really kind of look at the episodes, Cynthia's able to go to each of the friendship groups and kind of figure out exactly what happened from each person's point of view and then pull the story together for everybody. And I was like, oh my God, that is really what's going on. Cynthia is getting everybody. So, they say there's three sides to a story. There's your side, my side, and then the truth of what really happens. Mm-hmm. And so that's what Cynthia is kind of really doing. And I was like, that is just perfect for Cynthia, because Cynthia is not really the messy girl that got to throw the drama out there. She's really the calm, cool, bring everybody together type of friend. And I love that she's playing that role this season. So it's really, really good. But Britt shares that her and Angela got into it at the Bailey Q. What's her name? Angela threw shade at Britt, saying that she got stretch marks around her mouth. And so, Mike was like, well, I understand you going back and forth with her. She started it with you. Mike, is trying to work out his relationship with Britt's sister, Cher. They went to, have a conversation together to kind of work out things. Cher feels that Mike kind of stole Britt from her once they got married. She can no longer see him. And so he wants to clear that up between all of them and work things out. Britt does feel that Cher tries to take advantage of her, but she wants everybody to be at peace and to move on, with the relationships that they have. So that was that little scene. And then I'll stop there. So your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so the Kelly in this house and these houses and there's $2 million in, I mean not Kelly, Angela and $2 million in debt. Child, and listen, I'm saying respectfully, Roy, respectfully, when I saw the house, I was like, this is $3 million. Even the stage furniture she had in there was looking like it came from Rena Center. I mean, I like Angela, but good luck, Angie. Mm-hmm. Good luck, Angela. I mean, this is crazy. I was looking at that, and you know what? I do like the way Kelly tried to keep it real cute. She didn't really go in on her. Like, back in the day with the other group, they would have been ripping that house down for shreds in the confessional. Kelly just kept it real sweet and real cute. She was like, no, okay. Now she did say, which I think is truthful, that nobody was going to be giving her no $3 million for that home. Mm-hmm. But, on that note, though, I do like the way they handled it. I like the way they had their conversation, because one thing you could say about Angela is she's going to let the people know to their face that I didn't like how you said and what she felt. I got to give that to her.
Yeah.
On a constant, regular basis, I've been seeing her address the people in real time when she ain't feeling up. She in her room when she heard them talking about her at the pool, and she went downstairs in real time.
Come on, Big Bird. Y'all didn't think she was going to pull up. Big Bird pulled up and said, what's up, baby?
In real time. In real time, she pulled up. She went down to the pool. Kelly came to at the door. She said, nah, boo, talk to the hand. I ain't good with you. Nah, I ain't going to be phony. I ain't doing all that. So she's a real-time chick. She's not telling the people later, well, I heard them and this, that. No, she went downstairs. So I got to give it to her in real time. She like to talk to the people, confront the people, and have a conversation before it festers and it gets too late. So, Kelly came over, and I like that. And then she did tell us, like you said, about how Wendy Williams kind of started that rumor because she kind of assumed that, and Angela was talking about her current husband, Charles Berkeley, and she said, no, I was talking about my daughter's father.
Yes.
Well, I'll just say this. Rumors do get started that messy and that easy like that. Mm-hmm. It really, really do. I've seen it happen, but I don't even know what else to say about that. Like, I don't want to keep hearing the storyline about, Charles had a baby, because let's just say this. And she admitted to there was some infidelity, right? Mm-hmm. But she want to claim everybody they was on a break. I mean, how do you get a break from your marriage? I don't know where they do that at, but they was on some type of break, and that's when it happened. I'll say this though, I don't want to keep hearing about it the rest of the season.
No,
I don't. I'm done. And wait, I forgot, because I think did it come later? It came later, so it came at some point, but I'll talk about it later. It's something with Shamea that hit my head, that just hit me in the head, but we'll talk about it later because I think it came up later. But
don't forget it now.
When Shamea, when Porsha has said to Shamea, like, because they asked, it did come later when they talked about how.
Write it down so you don't forget it.
I won't. Oh, right. And then Britt and the husband. Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm feeling better about the husband right now. I'll give you that a little quicker. I think maybe he had to get comfortable with the cameras.
Okay.
Because I'm feeling better. I feel like now he's at least her friend.
Come on, support from a friendship role.
I'm
Cynthia Bailey is giving Cynthia Bailey. He's giving a friend.
Yes, it is. Oh my God! And speaking of that, what was her last husband name again?
Mike. He got engaged. Did you see that?
I did. I darn near fell on the floor. I said, that bastard. Shamea out from the
Not
door.
that bastard.
Yes, listen.
Yes, I
saw that they was jumping in the sand like two teenagers. I said, like him?
They looked very happy. They did.
Cute,
you know, Cynthia got her man. She got her boo thing. You know, Prince. You know, I'm just gonna let it be what it's gonna be. I really don't think Cynthia is a marriage type of girl. I just don't think that. I'm sorry. I just don't see that. I feel like Cynthia is so independent. Cynthia is such a just independent woman. I just don't feel like she needs a man. I just don't see that for or desires to like
needing a man. I think she does want a man. I think she just finds the wrong ones. And this young buck that she got going on right now, I don't know what that's about.
Well, he's 39. He's not that young to me. You know, he you know.
But Cynthia's closer to 60, right? Like I'm not feeling this young man. But listen, with Mike out here getting engaged and hopping in the sand, talking about this is business, best love ever. I was like, what?
I don't believe anything Mike says. I feel like he fronted with this whole relationship with Cynthia, and
it's like a money grab type thing.
I feel like he's a money grab type of person. He's just so like the amount of female friends that he has is just like so inappropriate for me personally. Just for me, it's just very inappropriate, and I just don't see it lasting. I just don't know any. Most females are not going to be comfortable with their man being around just a bunch of women constantly all the time. Like it raises questions. It raises thoughts. And so, you know, wishing the best for them. Don't want anything bad. No bad for him at all. But, you know, he wasn't the one for Cynthia, and Cynthia was definitely not the one for him. So
facts. But I was shocked when I saw that little engagement post. I was like,
the attention of it all. But you know, Mike, I'm just like you know, I think I'm so used to the husbands really like holding the wives accountable. We had Todd that always held Candy, you know, accountable when it came to her mom and the girls. We had Greg always holding Nene accountable. Peter definitely would, you know, hold Cynthia accountable when she was wrong in situations. I've just seen so many of the men in the relationships always kind of being there to kind of push the wives in the right direction. I don't feel like that's who Mike is. I feel like he's messy. I feel like he likes the mess. It just, I'm starting to believe the rumors that was put out there on Tasha K's channel with him and all of that stuff. But, you know, whatever.
But I hear you, though. I do hear you. Yeah.
There was a $32 Cash App receipt.
Okay. Yeah.
So anything else on those two things?
No, I'm good.
All righty. Angela invites Porsha over to her rental property for a game of tennis. Okay. So, you know, Angela said that she would not invite any woman to her house that said that they was going to sleep with her husband. So she invited Porsha to her rental property to play some tennis. Porsha did meet her eldest daughter. They played a nice little game of tennis. They were both pretty good. Not too bad. Tennis is not an easy game. I have played tennis quite a few times. So they did really, really good, you know, to just be kind of playing around, throwing the ball or hitting the ball. They had to sit down, you know. Porsha asked about Angela's eldest daughter. You know, she says she's at 25. You know, she just recently secretly got married to her wife. You know, she has a beautiful wife, a great partner, but she just would rather her daughter not keep secrets from her. You know, she wants to have the type of relationship that her and her daughter can be able to talk openly about anything. You know, apparently, you know, her daughter is not a fan of her being a helicopter mom, but, you know, she just wants to be there to support her daughter in whatever way she can and know that she's here for her. So I thought that was a beautiful conversation. You know, following that conversation kind of led into Porsha's pamper party. Porsha is getting ready to throw a pamper party. She invited Angela to the party. And so she wants all the ladies to come together and kind of work out their issues and, you know, so help support Porsha in this new, you know, this formal business adventure, but as she kind of rebrands herself, if you may. Angela really wants to know what can she do to fix Drew and Porsha's friendship. And Porsha said, you know, well, I met with Ralph the other day. And it was told to me by Dennis that, she was trying to sleep with my baby daddy, to get her beats paid for her. And Angela just was like, I can't believe it. I don't see it, but wow, wow, wow. Angela also shared that, she had a conversation with Shamea, and Shamea is not, very comfortable here lately in their relationship situation. Shamea has some things on her mind that she feels that Porsha needs to know, and allegedly she is afraid to tell Porsha about all of this, according to what Angela is saying. It made Porsha very emotional because Porsha feels that she's been a great friend to Shamea. She supported her wanting to come on the show. She supported her while she's been on the show, and she feels she's been a great friend. Angela says that she thinks that Shamea feels that the friendship is lopsided and she doesn't want to be seen as Porsha's lapdog. That whole conversation made Porsha very emotional. Porsha said, "Are you ready to go?" I'm good. So Porsha walked to her Rolls Royce and said she is tired of this and went on about her business. Okay.
I'm gonna be true.
And then we also have a scene.
At first, she put the fan over her face.
You ready?
Oh God. Oh my God.
The dramatics of it all. I was like, these girls right here. Okay. But listen, Porsha still got her Rolls Royce, so she doing something right. Okay. She's still doing something right. So the girl must be smart.
Did she drive that thing?
She drove that thing, baby. Okay. Now I know the mileage is up on it because she drives it everywhere, but go you girl. Mm-hmm. Now, we have another scene. Drew is making, food for her one of her sons, and she has a therapy session. So she's, making breakfast for one of the babies. They're spending some quality time together. Her and Ralph have no longer been speaking since the last court date. Ralph was awarded to stay into the home. He was also awarded that he does not have to pay child support as of yet. It's still not in effect. So things did not really go in Drew's favor at this last court date. Unfortunately, she cannot tell the children about the divorce because the judge feels that it will just put a strain on the children even more. And the judge feels that they need to be in family therapy before anything is said to the children so that we can kind of rectify everything and kind of get everybody on an easy playing field so that we can start this new vision of our family in a positive place. And I thought that was a really good idea, Diva. When you're kind of tearing a family apart, you want to be very gentle and easy, especially when you have kids in transitional ages. I know that Drew's oldest son is heading towards his teen years, and the middle children, they're in that, kid going into big kid stage. And so rebellion and not listening and things like that are some of the things that we notice from children when the family is being torn apart. No child wants to see their parents divorced. I think every child wants to be in a happy home. No child wants to be around arguing and things like that. And so I think it is a really good idea that we get the kids in therapy. Unfortunately, they probably do already know what's going on. So it's probably kind of a little late down the road, but it's never too late to start getting help. And so I'm glad that that is something that they're working towards. Drew had her therapy session with Dr. Kim, and Drew shares that she's feeling overwhelmed with everything that's going on. Drew felt that at one point she had no more tears for her marriage. Well, the tears are coming back. She's starting to feel emotions and things and all of the disruption in her life in regards to this divorce in her marriage. She's also feeling that she no longer has a safe space when it comes to her music. She was working with Dennis because, he had a good deal for her. Apparently Dennis is the music man in these streets. And so it was a good match for her. Well, now she no longer feels safe for that because Dennis is now saying that he's trying to sleep with her to pay him off. And Drew is saying that these things are not true. Dr. Kim says that she needs to continue to work on herself, stay in a positive space, and keep moving forward. He also shares that he is very proud of the work that Drew has grown to. So those were those two scenes, Angela, Porsha, and Drew in her therapy session.
Angela and Porsha, it was a lot. So Angela talked about her daughter and how she was upset that the daughter didn't tell her she was getting married or whatever the case may be. I understood her pain, but I'm like, there was a breakdown prior to that girl getting married. That is the
Mhm.
reason why she didn't tell you.
Yes.
So that was that. You know, when Angela, I think Angela, out of innocence, was kind of telling her, and she didn't think that, you know, Porsha was going to break down like that. Because as she was walking back in the house, I don't know if you caught it and heard her say that. She was like, oh, she said, oh my God, she's really upset. That she's really upset about this. I think that Porsha is emotional right now, right? Because she thought she was coming back to Rome and she was going to show this fabulous life equal and equivalent to Shamea. But
Mm-hmm.
Shamea still has her husband. She still has a house. And Porsha can't even film in her house. So I think all of that weighed down on her. And I think the jealousy monster did smack her side of the head. I think she was, you know, to learn, and we're going to learn later on that she didn't even go to part two of Shamea's wedding. It
Mm-hmm.
is messy, right? So, and this is like your bestie who supports you in everything you do, but now when it comes time to support her, you got all these excuses and you saying all kind of crazy things. So when Angela told her, I thought it was messy, but I'm just like, you know, when a demise and a breakdown of a relationship comes, it just comes, and it kind of sometimes kind of hit fast and furious, and I think that's what's going on between Shamea and Porsha.
Yeah.
Um, when it comes to what was the other scene again? Wait a minute, I'm losing my thought
Drew
here.
in her therapy with
Oh
Dr.
yeah, Drew. Listen, I'm over Dr. Ken. I was over Dr. Ken when he called himself trying to help Drew and Ralph
Oh
in
my
the,
God.
you know, seeing him sitting on that screen. I mean, I like the way the court said, no, we got to tell these kids in an organized way, because, you know, kids are always the collateral damage, unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
in the demise of relationships, right? And to the best, listen, they're going to suffer what they suffer, but to the best of your ability, if you could do it in a nicer way, it's always better to do it that way for the mental health of the kids, right? So I did like that. Um, I don't really know what else to say with that scene, because you know when they that's all I gotta say. I don't know what
Yeah.
else to say about that.
Yeah. You know, I just Drew. It's just. Her story just does not connect for me. It just does not connect. I feel like there's so many pieces missing. I feel that Drew is just not giving us the full story of everything that's happening, and is showing holes in the story. She's reminding me a lot of how Tia was on her show on My Next Act.
Right,
She's
not telling
stories
us the
without
whole
telling
truth.
full stories. Yes,
Mhm.
and it's making it hard for us to grasp the storyline, if you may, of Drew and what she's really got going on. And
Mhm.
it's hard for me to find sympathy for her because it's just so many mixed things going on. So we just gonna continue to lift up Drew. You know, I was really, you know, Dr. Ken was a part of Cecil and Simone's relationship. He was their therapist, and so
Mhm.
you know, these TV therapists that they play an interesting role. They play an interesting role on these shows, and so hopefully Drew will be able to make it through all of this. Hopefully the kids can get in counseling, you know, and hopefully this family can be in a better place as well, mentally, emotionally, for the kids' sake. For the kids' sake. So Portia's pamper party. Now, Diva, before I get into this, um, I think I'm starting to realize about myself that I'm very private when it comes to um sex and life, and just like, you know, what I wear and what I see, and I just like, nobody leaves anything to the imagination anymore, like at all. And so I was really taken aback by some of the outfits at this event, but we'll get into this. So Porsha, you know, she is having her cousin, I cannot remember what her cousin's name is. I would her cousin that just recently passed away. I hate to say that, but her cousin
London,
London, thank you. London
right?
is helping Portia put this event together. So she meets London at the door. You know, they're setting up for the party. She's walking Portia around, showing Portia everything and how everything's gonna work out. Portia is, you know, feel like she's been slacking on her pamper business, okay? Portia has a line of sheets, and she wants to, you know, continue on in that homeware area of business. She wants to continue selling and going.
I said London is Lundy,
Lundy,
right?
excuse me, sorry, excuse us. So Lundy, yes. Porsha feels that she took a little break. You know, she was married, she was doing her thing, and so Porsha now wants to get back into her business mode because she says she got to pay for these bills, okay? And if one thing Porsha know how to do, she know how to collect a check. I will give her that. When she divorced her first husband, Porsha got out here in these streets and she grinded her way to the top, okay? From radio to hair to music to TV. I mean, Porsha was doing everything. So I'm glad to see that she's getting back to that grinding stage of her life and really being that businesswoman that we know Porsha to be. So continue on in that success, Porsha. Keep your head high. Kelli and Britt are on their way in the car. Britt is sharing that Mike and Cher finally had a meet and greet together, and so they worked out their issues this past weekend. So that was good to hear. Drew said that, you know, she was invited to this event. Things have been tense between her and Porsha, but she's gonna come because she was invited. Porsha said she invited Drew because this is her hashtag growth moment, okay? She's over the foolishness. She's good on, you know, her and Drew having their issues. Or before you, okay.
She said you're modest and it's okay. You ain't gonna be out here showing you're not gonna show your cakes.
I am.
Your cakes on the TV.
I'm very modest, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. Kelli, you know, she comes in and Kelli basically has all of her butt out, no clothes on from the waist down. Britt has the see-through dress on with her tassels on. I was just like, okay. They come in, they get their drinks, they're talking with the guy and doing the most. Shamea shows up to the event. Shamea comes in very quiet, very peaceful, very demure. Okay. Doesn't have too much to. Angela shows up, you know, they show Angela, you know, her little robe. And so everybody is here in the building, okay? They take a photo. You know, Drew was a little concerned because Drew said she no longer works for Porsha, okay? Her contract was sent a cease and desist, and she's no longer a part of the Porsha company. So are we being paid for this? I need to know because I'm no longer on Porsha's payroll. After the ladies take their pictures and enjoy their moment, Lauren has a relaxation and meditation class that she has set up for the ladies, and she wants everyone to participate in it. So they sit down, they do their num yo ho ranking yo. They
Oh, he's a fool. He's a fool.
Oh my God. Shout out to Tina Turner, okay?
That part. Shout out to Tina. Come on now.
And so as the ladies lay back, you know, they are instructed to lay down, you know, release feelings, emotions, relax, breathe in, breathe out. Feel the moment. Well, while the rest of the ladies are laying back and relaxing, Shamea is sitting up. Because she don't feel comfortable to lay back. She got a whole attitude. Porsha is talking about her behind her back. And she got some questions to ask and some answers that need to be given. Well, while Shamea is sitting up with her attitude on, Miss Kelli sits up as well because she notices that Shamea is not relaxed. So she tiptoe on over to Shamea. She said, well, what's wrong, friend? We supposed to be laying back and relaxing, you know, in peace. Shamea said, I ain't with that bullshit. She said, if we feel comfortable to do so. And I don't feel comfortable. Well, in the midst of their conversation, Porsha leans up. Shh. Well, apparently she don't feel peace either. Is what Shamea says. After the ladies come out of their moment of meditation and relaxation, Lauren says that she wants to open up this space for the ladies to have some, you know, conversations with each other, to share some truths, and to move past some things. And she said, we're going to address one another. And so, Diva, I'm going to address you. And I'm going to say, Diva, you have the space to receive what I may have to tell you.
Yes, I got the space.
Okay, you have the space. Well, Angela wanted to start off. And so, you know, Porsha, I want to see if you can receive that I'm glad that you came and apologized to me. and I would like us to move forward and be in a better position as friends. And so Porsha was able to receive that from Angela. She says she thinks she's cool. She does, accept, moving forward, and she hopes that they can be in a better space. Kelli says, well, Porsha, I would love to say to you and Shamea that I think you guys have a beautiful friendship. You guys are beautiful together. And, I would like for you guys to work out any issues that you have. Apparently it was shared, Shamea, that you have some issues with Porsha and you guys' friendship. And so Shamea says, well, I don't know where this is coming from because I haven't said anything in this room. And so Porsha opens up and says, well, Angela shared that, you felt unsupportive of me making you a housewife, and you felt unsupportive that I didn't show up to your wedding. And so Shamea had to let her know, girl, everything that these girls are saying, I've told you to your face, okay? I stand up for you when they talk about me to you, but do you stand up for me when they talk about me? I don't think so. You're a bad friend, and I don't appreciate it. And so Porsha was just thrown aback because she said, it makes me feel like crap that you say that I am a bad friend. I've done nothing but been here for you, to support you, to die with you.
Come on now.
That I get, I brought you on this platform.
Oh.
And I told you that they weren't going to accept you because your husband wouldn't film.
Oh, my God.
And I did not come to your wedding because we weren't speaking the week before or the month before. And so Shamea says, well, that's not what you said, when we had everything going on. You said that you weren't going to be able to make the flight.
Oh, my goodness.
Porsha said, well, listen, I'm just a shitty friend. It is what it is, and that's that.
And that's that.
Shamea said, I'm not perfect. I do things. I mess up. But I choose to operate in moving forward and not holding people to the cross. Porsha said, congratulations. I'm glad that you choose to do that. Thank you for your growth. Shamea said, see the sarcasm and the goofiness? I can't. Cynthia said that she really hates when the group breaks up friendships. And so Angela said that she just wanted everybody to work out their issues between Porsha and Shamea. She didn't want to cause all of this drama, but we're glad that they're having the conversation. And that was the end of this episode 10, Mediation and Meditation.
Woo, woo, woo.
Woo!
Woo, woo, woo. Pampered by Porsha event was a lot. It was a lot. We saw booties out. We saw a whole lot of stuff. And Kelli got up when she ran over there. I said, what just happened? She has her whole backside out. Okay. Listen. Shamea was not trying to hide for the people or play nothing off. Everybody was laid back and she was sitting up there with the mean mug face. Where do I go with this thing? I'll say this. I do feel from what we see, we don't know the 100% truth, but from everything we have seen, it does seem like Shamea will always defend Porsha, but Porsha doesn't seem to really come to Shamea's defense as much. I will also say this too. I feel like, Porsha was okay with Shamea being a friend of, showing up every now and then and all of that. But when the minute she got the opportunity to get a peach, I feel like that was problematic for Porsha. I do feel like that was the truth. And when you want to see that, the problem with lies is you never remember a lie, but you will always remember parts of the truth. Because we all forget stuff, but a lie you ain't never gonna remember, right? Yeah. So you lied to her about the reason why you didn't come to her second wedding out there in Kenya, but then at the Pampered by Porsha, the truth came out. Now, Drew was being petty with this whole, are we getting paid? Like, stop. So it's the sheets, whatever. Take the picture, let her post it on her Pampered by Porsha and keep it pushing. You mad, Drew, because you was part of Go Naked Hair. You no longer being a part of it. But see, you should have never messed where you was getting a check from. I'm not about to piss
where you making money.
That part. So, and I would have told Dennis, I really love you to work on my music, but I would have told Porsha, I need Dennis to work on my music, and I would have told Porsha every scene that it comes to me, the music and Dennis, you be there too. That's it, and that's all.
Period.
Yeah, we all be there in the same scene together. That's it, and that's all. I'm not going to do this behind your back. I'm not going to pretend I'm doing this behind your back. I'm not doing none of that. Let's do this together.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's that with that situation or whatever the case may be. I feel like it ended sad because Porsha and Shamea, they made no headway in this situation. And what's her other sister name that was running like
Lauren?
Lauren's supposed to be this mediation guru, meditation, yoga, and all of that. And she didn't even facilitate this thing in the right way.
Nothing was rectified.
No, she was supposed to interject and be like, no, ladies, y'all been friends for years. Can we do this? Can we do that? She just sitting there like, da-da-da. It was a mess.
I think, and I think it would have been, yeah. Okay. I think it would have been hard for Lauren to interject herself because Lauren is Porsha's sister. So it would have been hard for her to be able to stand up for anything Shamea may be saying, if there's any truth to it, and still being on your sister's side. We all know that Porsha is not very well at receiving criticism from others. Her and Lauren have been into it before over things that they have seen differently in their sister relationship. And so I know it would have been difficult for Lauren to do that in this situation as well. But overall, I felt that Shamea was very valid in some of the things that she was saying in this situation with Porsha. I do feel, that instead of Shamea going to the other ladies and talking about it, she should have brought it to Porsha. But it is what it is. It's very unfortunate to see this friendship fall apart, but hopefully they can work this out going forward. We do know in real time that they are still not close from my understanding. Shamea's birthday was yesterday. Shamea did say that Porsha did, give her a shout out on Instagram wishing her a happy birthday, and she received a personal text message from Porsha as well. So hopefully, things can move forward in a better direction in their friendship future. But sometimes, friendships take their course. They have gone as far as they can, and you got to move forward with that, and sometimes when a violation is made in a friendship or relationship, sometimes after the forgiveness has been done, the relationship changes, and that's okay. We may not be able to talk on the phone every day and be besties like we used to be. Sometimes relationships just change, and that's a part of the growth of life. But I feel like they still need to talk about it at least, and everybody needs to be willing to accept what one another says, apologize, and figure out how they can move forward, in a new way or getting back to what used to be, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, if I could say one more thing about it, I did see when Porsha did, pretty much said that, she said happy birthday to Shamea. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Say happy birthday to Shamea. I thought that was a beautiful thing. But I just feel like it's sad to see where this thing is at right now.
Yeah.
It's just very sad to see. I don't know.
It's very unfortunate. Let me ask you this. Do you feel that Angela was wrong to intrude herself into this friendship issue?
No, because you know what? That's what they do on these shows. They bring you always want to have a bone carrier. Mm-hmm. So now instead of it being Sheree, it's Angela, right? Mm-hmm. She's a bone carrier. And she told me, I just think y'all two needed to talk. Angela, you need to go sit down somewhere and stop. But you know what I'm saying? But it happened. We always going to get a bone carrier. And hey, tag Angela, she's it. I think just
she carries it well. I will say that too. She does very well carrying that bone.
Well, you know what? And I will give her that. She carried it better than Sheree. That is fact. Mm-hmm. That is fact. But you know what I would love to see? I would love to see how, if we interject, even if it's for a couple scene or a scene or two here and there, how we interject some of the old bees with the newbies. I would love to see how that would kind of go. I would love to see how that kind of go.
If we get a season 16, who know what may happen? What shakeups may happen?
17, because we
in 17. Yes, we are in 16. Lord Jesus. If we get a 17, I think it'll be interesting to see how the ladies vibe once Phaedra shows up. So I think Phaedra coming in the picture will kind of give us a little inkling of how that may go. And I think it would be a game changer to kind of, as you said, bring in those old wives with these new wives, even if they're not full castmates, but to integrate them into the show. I think that would be really fun and give us a different vantage point of the show. So we'll see. But that has been episode 10, season 16, Meditation and Mediation of the Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. At the end of every episode, we like to receive your thoughts and opinions on the episode on a scale of 1 to 10. What are you rating this? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. Auntie, your thoughts?
Well, what? I'm going to go ahead and give this episode an 8.
Mm-hmm.
I love the scene with Kelli and her daughters. I understand the last scene is important because I think it's giving us real reality TV at the Pampered by Porsha. Matter of fact, for that, I'm gonna up it to an 8.5 because it was giving us realness. Matter of fact, you know what? Yeah, I do an 8.5 because also the scene with Angela and Porsha was giving us the realness.
We don't need a third liar.
Lorraine. Oh my God.
Listen. Though Phaedra may allegedly be a liar, I love me some Phaedra. Phaedra knows how to give us reality TV, and that's what she's gonna do. And we need that fun banter, that fun, engaging messiness, but still foolish, smart goofiness, that she brings to the camera. So I have to say, I'm sorry, but I'm excited about Phaedra coming back. Anytime I know Phaedra is going to be on something, I know there's going to be laughs, enjoyment, with some mess in there. So come on, Phaedra, bring it on in the building.
Just share this for a second. Don't got nothing to do with Housewives, but what is your girl doing? And I know you love her. What is this?
What is going on?
What's that backside? What is she doing?
Oh, this is part of her Cowboy Carter tour, honey.
Yeah, I don't like that outfit.
Oh, we're sorry. You can leave a complaint on the HR website at Beyonce.
This is a mess. The outfit is a mess. And I love Beyonce. That outfit is a mess.
I have to see it from the front. I need to see the vantage point from the front and see what.
So the back is messy, so we're gonna give it an F.
You can give it an F. I am not gonna listen. I'm gonna meet Beyonce one day. What I do, I'm gonna bring you in the room, but I'm gonna tell her that you owe her an apology. Diva would like to apologize to you. No, but listen, since you brought that up, I'm going to give this episode a 9. I truly enjoyed it. Every scene was really, really good to me. Yeah. It kept me engaged the whole episode. So I'm excited about going forward in this, second half of the season. We're on episode 10. Cynthia did share on her podcast that we have 16 episodes this season. So we're more than halfway through the season. We got a few more episodes left. Phaedra is sliding in towards the end of this. She also shared that the reunion is coming up. Cynthia will be at the reunion. There's talks of Kenya possibly being there. So
no, Kenya was invited and uninvited.
Yes, Cynthia has said that there's possibly talks of her being there, at the reunion. So I listen, I feel if we can bring Greg and Letitia after all of the fiasco that happened with her what's the other girl? King and her guy. If Greg and them could be in the same space, we can bring Kenya in. We can bring in Kenya. I just really feel Kenya is all about the antics and the shade and the foolishness. And I feel like it would just add an extra oomph onto the reunion. And I feel like we need it. I just feel like we need it.
Well, she definitely will come bring the smoke and the heat because she's trying to get that check back.
Yes. If they want to have an explosive royal reunion, bringing Kenya in would be the move. It would be the ultimate move. It really, really would. So, but yes, speaking of Beyonce, before we go, have you seen her fabulous daughters taking the stage every night? Blue Ivy and Rumi, you know. Have you seen that?
I have.
Okay.
I have.
Mm-hmm. The queendom is reigning, and we appreciate it. Well, listen, y'all, we appreciate you joining us tonight. This has been our recap of season 16, episode 10 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Make sure you hit the like button on both channels. Tomorrow we will be recapping episode 11 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, which came on last night. So we were recapping 10 from the week before, and then we're going to do 11 tomorrow. So make sure you join us at 6 p.m. as we do that recap. Make sure you join Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva tonight for trending topics, as she will be giving updates on this Diddy trial. And oh my gosh, honey, I have missed so much while I've been gone, so I'm trying to catch up on that too. I'm trying to get content from my crew so I can post that, and trying to just all of this going on. Like, oh my gosh, it's just so much. But you know, join Diva tonight. What, 8 o'clock, 8:30, somewhere around there?
Probably 9 o'clock because I got something to do.
Okay. Turn your notification bells on all. You'll see each and every time we go live. Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it. It was a good time, a good show. Oh, are we doing it tomorrow, Royaire, or we're recapping the second show? The other one last night's show we recapped.
Yes, yeah. We could do it tomorrow.
Okay.
If you're available.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That was my son. And they still holding up. My son gave me these.
Yes.
The kid gave me those for
okay, kid, we see you. Look, tell the kid we see each other.
I'm gonna tell. Yeah, we doing that midnight train to Georgia, honey. We doing a midnight train tonight. But I see y'all. Listen, Royaire, thank you. I love doing these recaps with you. It's so much fun for me. I really look forward to it. And listen, guys, if y'all are not a subscriber over there at Royaire's World, please go over there for the Diva, for Royaire, and hit that subscribe button, because we want to grow our channels together. And that's why we love doing these recaps together. And for real, in real time, for real, Royaire is such a good person. He's, Steve Harvey got nephew Tommy. I got nephew Royaire.
Nephew Royaire. In the recap show, how you doing?
Oh, okay, nephew Royaire. Yes, sir.
Auntie Diva, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to both channels, and we'll catch y'all tomorrow night for episode 11 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Good night and goodbye.
Good night.
Royale's World.